Decided to make another video researching the Long Island Railroad, waiting times and which stations have the worst gaps in service in the rush hour. And you'd be surprised that there's some pretty long gaps in service in the rush hour along the Long Island Railroad. This is a problem because I think that the schedules need to be remade. I think when East Side Access finally opens, that they need to actually work on having clock face schedules, which is something I believe very strongly in, because when you don't have clock face schedules, look at what Nice Bus did with the schedules. MTA Long Island Bus had clock face schedules, and then they changed it. It just leads to uneven loading, crowding, and unfairness. So let's go right now to the longest wait times at some various stations on the Long Island Railroad in the morning. And as you can see, some of those wait times are very long, particularly in New Hyde Park. Again, New Hyde Park gets screwed a lot. They hardly have any service there. Most trains just skip the station. And 47 minutes, which is absolutely preposterous. You can see, which branch doesn't have the longest wait times and the shortest wait times. Most of those stations are along the pretty little Babylon branch. So you can see that right there. Though, like I said, the main key stations on the main line, like Mineola, Hicksville, we get decent service. Huntington doesn't, though. And then when we go ahead and we look at the service to Penn, now if you want a direct train to Penn, and it's even more obvious that the Babylon branch has shorter wait times than almost everybody else. And you'd be surprised, shorter, they don't have as much long gaps in service, is what I mean to say. The gaps in service, the biggest gaps in service seem to occur on the main line. Again, not on the pretty little Babylon branch. So, you'll be try Ronkonkoma is not too bad, some of these gaps, but the problem is because they don't have long gaps, they don't have that many trains. But again, surprisingly, Garden City has a really long wait for a gap to go to Penn Station. All right, so we now move on to the longest wait times in the evening rush hour. All right, and once again, you can see most of the shorter ones are on the Babylon branch. But again, some of the key mainline stations actually have the most frequency, like Mineola, like Hicksville. So again, I think we're served pretty well. But again, New Hyde Park, Huntington, I think they're shortchanged. Babylon generally just seems to get better service than almost every other terminal on the railroad, which is absolutely preposterous and ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Huntington is shortchanged. New Hyde Park is shortchanged. The Ronkonkoma branch is shortchanged. But again, we go and we look at the longest wait times going into Penn Station, going out of Penn Station, and once again, the shortest ones tend to be on the Babylon branch and the Port Washington branch, and some of the long ones, again, poor New Hyde Park and even Huntington seem to get shortchanged, and then also Long Beach as well, 76 minutes, and even Valley Stream, which does get a lot of trains. There is literally a very long gap in service of direct service from Penn Station. So I wanted to go over some of this data with you. May not be very interesting, but I think it tells the story. This is trying to be as fair as possible. It still shows that the Babylon branch gets off easy compared to everybody else. So, look, I'm not out to start a fight with people on the Babylon branch, all right? But the thing is that they got to realize that they are not the center of attention. They are not the main part of the railroad, and that there are more serious problems at the railroad than what occurs on their line. And they also need to be more tolerant of people who are different than them. If you're not dressed in the blue collar and look like you came out of a bank, don't look down on people just because they're not dressed like they just came out of a bank. Don't look down on them because of that. That's the way these people are. They're all bankers, finance professionals, and if you're not like them, they look down upon you. But we're going to continue to call them out. So that's it for this brief video, just showing you some more data.